Hello, my name is Richard Kent. Today I'd like to talk about comets. Some of you have heard of Halleys Comets and various other comets. They actually prove a young universe. Just remind all of us what the evolutionists like to teach in universities and schools. They teach that 13.78 billion years ago there was a Big Bang. And about 5 billion years ago, there was what's called planetary evolution, and all the planets evolved. And they like to believe that the comets evolved at the same time, roughly about 5 billion years ago. And the Earth, by the way, this Earth evolved about 4.2 billion years ago. This is what they teach. And that 3.8 billion years ago, simple prokaryotic life forms evolved by chance in the primordial slime. And by the way, this prokaryotic life forms had DNA in it. So we know now that that life form wasn't simple. Let's now come back to the comets. Now there are short-term and long-term comets, but I'm just going to talk about one type of comet which you've probably heard of, which is Halleys Comet, which last appeared in 2086. It's actually made of ice. It's about 6 miles across. And it has, as you can see on that diagram, a very curious elliptical orbit. It travels very close to the Sun and then travels far, far away from the Sun. Two problems with that. As the comet gets close to the Sun of course is very hot, a lot of that ice will be melted. As it goes further away from the Sun, it'll come close to other planets, particularly Jupiter, which is the largest of all the planets, and will be attracted gravitationally towards the larger planets, throwing its trajectory off course. Now, it's generally considered by most creationists that the life of a typical comet is about 10,000 years, which is very, very different from the evolutionists saying that they were evolved by planetary evolution roughly 5 billion years ago. So let's have a look at Halleys Comet. It actually appeared in 70 AD at the destruction of Jerusalem. It appeared at the Battle of Hastings in 1066, and it won't appear again till somewhere around 2060, somewhere around about there. But each time it's observed, it's only observed frequently, it's getting smaller. Now, the evolutionists are aware of this. They have come up with something called the Oort cloud, which is a hypothesis, and something called Kepler's belt. And they said this is where new comets come from. Well, all I can tell you is that using all their electron microscopes and Hubble space telescopes and everything else, nobody's actually ever seen the Oort cloud. So you can take it on faith from them that there is an Oort cloud named after Oort, who suggested an Oort cloud, but all I can tell you is nobody's ever seen it. I actually think that comets actually are less than 6,000 years old, because the whole universe was created 6,000 years ago, and they are burning out. Comets have a life less than 10,000 years old, and they actually prove a young universe. Thanks for listening, and God bless you.